Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture of module 2. Today we will be covering access opening of mandibular posterior teeth. So initially the design was discussed for posterior teeth of maxilla. As we have seen in the last video, that oblique ridge has to be saved, the mesial marginal ridge has to be saved, and the mesiobuccal cusp is important for the design of the access cavity. Now we are covering today the molars of the mandible. The access cavity starts usually from the central pit. It is triangular in design and more of the apex of this triangle is rounded up. So let's begin with this session. We have already seen that access cavities are there and we have to look out for more canals. We have seen in certain cases that mesial canals are directly opposite to the distal canals. It usually happens in cases where we have only two canals and two roots in mandibular posteriors. But in certain cases, the canal is slightly offbeat, or what we can say, it is not in line with the distal canal, and that's why we have to look out for another canal. This is the way we can make sure that we have not missed any single canal in this access cavity prep. So let me share with you some rules there are from Kastner. According to them, when there is a line that is arbitrarily drawn from the mesial side to the distal side, the canals are perpendicular to this arbitrary line. As we can say, this is called the law of symmetry. It says except the maxillary molars, the orifices of the canals are equidistant from a line drawn in a mesiodistal direction through the pulp chamber floor. The second law of symmetry says that except for the maxillary molar, the orifices of the canals lie on a line perpendicular to a line drawn in the mesiodistal direction across the center of the floor of the pulp chamber. Here also the law of color change says that the color of the pulp chamber floor is always darker than the walls. The color of the floor is always darker than the walls, so you should not miss out on finding the canals. Let me also discuss with you three different laws of law of orifice location. I have given a small mnemonic to it that calls the JAT rule. It is, let me share it with you. The law of orifice location says the orifice of the root canal are always located at the junction of the wall and the floor. The junction of the wall and the floor. Coming to the law of orifice second, the orifice of the root canal are located always at an angle in the floor wall junction. You can see the wall and the floor are meeting here, and if you see, my instrument is going at an angle in an orifice. Coming to the third law, it says the orifices of the root canal are located at the terminus of the root development fusion lines. That means you might not find orifices anywhere on the floor. They will always be at the end of the developmental lines. You have seen dentinal maps where they end, you will always find at the terminus. This is also called the junction angle and terminus rule. In certain cases, I would like to tell you that the access opening does not follow the typical access design. That means a triangle with a central pit. It does not follow that. Sometimes in certain cases, if the anatomy is a bit different, or we can say there is a anomaly available, we have to follow the occlusal table and see the design of the occlusal table and make a decision wisely. You can see that almost 2 mm of periphery of a strong dentinal tooth structure is left around, and we are following a design in between. If you follow these basic rules of access preparation in mandibular teeth, it is regardless of the truth that you will not go for any failure or the mistakes that are usually done. So iatrogenic errors will not happen, and you will definitely get good access cavities, finding all the canal orifices there. I would like to show a video here. I have made a small video that is pertaining to the access cavities. Let me share with you this initial access preparation. I have done a endo buildup, and this is a maxillary tooth. Yesterday we could see only first maxillary molars. This is a typical design of a second molar of the maxilla. So you can see the molar orifice is present here, and on a straight line there is a palatal orifice, but just slightly away from this line of developmental groove that we can see, you can see another distobuccal orifice. When we are doing maxillary molars clinically, it is often found that we miss out the distobuccal canals. We say that we have forgotten or it was missed, but with the probe I can show you that usually when the two canals are almost in the same line, there is just an awkward or offbeat line of developmental groove that leads us to the distobuccal canal. Please follow this rule and it will help you in future for finding distobuccal canals. The maximum cases of failure for distobuccal, the maximum cases of failure for second maxillary molars is due to missing canals. In this video, I have chosen a 3D printed acrylic model of mandibular molar first to showcase all the basic anatomies of the tooth and the access cavity. These blue dots you can see here, they are made by me today just to showcase the initial orifices, and this is the gingival barrier or blue colored gingival barrier or liquid dam that we usually say. So the maxillary tooth has two roots in the mesial side and one root in the distal side, but these two roots usually contain two roots or another one root, that is middle mesial canal, that is mostly available. Let me show you. This is the mesiobuccal and the mesiolingual canal, and somewhere in between, if there is possibility, you might find a middle mesial canal. That is also a rage right now in the dentistry, that in certain cases we miss out these canals. They might fuse into mesiobuccal most of the times or can be a separate entity. Coming to distal canal, this is these are distolingual and distobuccal canals, mostly fused in cervical 1/3 followed by a differentiation, and can have two different portals or a single portal at the end. Coming to these blue dots again, I'll show you how the occlusion looks like. I've blocked these orifices with gingival barrier, blue colored gingival barrier, and I'll show you how it looks from occlusally. Because the design of the cavity is triangular in nature, you can see still the jelly form of this gingival barrier, this is for showcasing the, it was for showcasing the distal, and you can see the distal canal, it is crescent shape. This is crescent shape, and we can see that the triangular shape of the access cavity is usually not actually triangle, it is rounded, and it is a lot of material is saved, like on the mesial side and on the distal side lot of material saved. You can see when the triangular shape of the access cavity is seen, mostly you will be able to find out all the canals if the control of the shape is taken. For smoothing, you can use fine tapered fissures or ultrasonics to redefine the cavity walls. Middle mesial canal that I was telling, I can actually prick it in with a DG16, and I can say that in most young cases where the pulp is vital, you will be able to find this canal. In certain cases it is fused or it is completely obliterated, and you might not be able to find them. In certain clinical cases you have seen that the BMP was over, but when the next time we open it up again for obturation appointments, you can see a hard hitting canal or a canal with a constriction when a 10 number file goes in. This is mostly in a middle mesial canal.
Or the mesolingual part. So it can be fused or it can be fully calcified.
In most cases, when the middle mesial canal is available, you will be able to do it in a better way, but make sure all the other patent canals are over, their preparation is over, then you should look out for the preparation of middle mesial canal, because it might take a lot of time while finding it out, and it will take away your clinical time. I am just showing on the occlusal table of a mandibular teeth where to start your access cavity preparation from. I have already told if there is a caries present, total caries removal should be done before access cavity preparation is initiated. I am showing you one of the examples that we did for the participants. You can see a distal canal and two mesial canals here. This is a distal canal and these are two mesial canals. My DG16 will go in and show you how appropriate we have found out. But what happened is I could feel that distal canal was not in straight line with the anatomy. I could apply the Kastner's law. It is not in between, it is somewhere on the offset. So I tried to dig in and I could find out there was another canal here. This is another canal. You can see here another orifice is available. I'll try to remove this tooth and show you why I thought there will be another canal. Because if you see, there is a crescent formation there and the darker area of the pulpal floor is available. So you can have a look at it. I am just trying to remove the tooth from this jig and we'll be able to see it. Can you see another extra canal here? This extra root. This is also called entomolaris or paramolaris according to its location. So this is an extracted tooth and the participant knows that there is an extra root. But in clinical cases you have to make a judgment after seeing the radiographs. So preoperative radiographs are very important. If you can see, this is a buccal surface and my extra canal is on the other side. That means it will be called a paramolaris. It is away from your vision or from the buccal plate. It will be called a paramolaris. This tooth would have been removed because of the cervical abrasion that is available, and I'm sure that the dentist could have tried to do a better root canal, but patient choice is always supreme. This tooth, we have two canals, another distal canal and an auxiliary canal or extra canal on the lingual side. If usually these orifices are missed out or a canal is missed out, it might lead to sensitivity or pain in future and followed by failure of the case. Coming to another example, if you see a maxillary molar, I am showcasing here that this buildup is available. This buildup is available. In future programs or modules, I'll be definitely showing you how to make a buildup and what is the validity of an endo buildup. I'm sure it will help you. After this, I would like to discuss certain cases with you. They are for the endodontic module. I understand that access opening is over now. We all know why to do a root canal and how the anterior and posterior teeth are different and what all extra canals we are looking forward to in the future. But understanding certain cases and the surprises that the mother nature throws at us, it will be good for all of us to understand. So I'm showcasing, I'm not giving you all the history, but I can showcase you certain cases. These are my personal cases. This case, the patient came with a fractured cusp of the premolar. He was having his breakfast and I could not find anything extra significant. No swelling was there, and I took a preoperative radiograph and patient was told about the root canal therapy. Patient was agreeing immediately because the pulp horns were exposed, and the patient was in immense pain. So as you can see, when the radiograph was taken for working length, you can see the fusion of the roots or the canals that we have studied in the previous module, that the roots fuse and the canals fuse and at the apical end. The validity of this case is when you use an apex locator with lot of precision and the patient is ready for a good treatment and you believe in your own skill, you can achieve good success. It was a single visit case, but the patient wanted certain amount of time so that he can come up for a restoration, and the restoration was done almost after 3-4 days, and the patient was recalled in 6 months time. Coming to another case, this is one of my favorites. This is a maxillary mandibular molar with a swelling. The patient reported to us with a swelling. This is one of the cases that usually makes a dentist skip a beat. The patient reported with a swelling because the patient went to a non-qualified dental practitioner, or we can say, in other words, somebody who was not giving the right kind of treatment to the patient. The cavity was exposed and the patient was in immense pain also. So we asked the patient that we might take some time, because abscess cases take certain amount of time to heal, and patient agreed for a root canal and radiographs were made. You can see the amount of double S curve that was observed in this case. initial you can see some radiographic changes, but in recall everything was healed, patient was happy, and this is one of the cases I prefer to showcase, so that it can give confidence to participants that if they are using a hand instrument or a rotary protaper or a rotary instrument for preparation, they can achieve these kind of results flawlessly. Coming to another case, this case reported with a periapical swelling, food lodgement also was there, and patient wanted immediate relief. So we thought, we explained everything to the patient, and periapical lesions always give me a good bump. So we thought, why not do it with the help of apex locators, and these were my working length radiographs. Can you see the curvature? We studied about premolar curvatures towards the palatal. So this is the palatal canal with the curvature, and this is the isthmus. When the obturation was done, this was a isthmus. It was a minimal preparation that was tried in the patient, and patient was out of pain, and in follow-up radiographs healing can be seen. Another case, if we see that there's a premolar with a carious lesion here and adhesion, so patient was reported with pain, and when we gave the treatment, patient was really happy about the treatment. The radiographs as an endodontist, they made me happy because I could see the apical puff or a stardust appearance of the sealer that happened. But as you know, second premolars might have two different portal of exit and two different canals. So in another radiograph you can see one canal dividing into two with two different portals of exit. This kind of treatment makes patients really believe in the power of non-surgical endodontic treatment, and it can help the patient in future to heal better. The patient was quite aged, and he did not want to lose the tooth actually, so that's why the endodontic treatment was proposed to the patient, and the patient readily accepted. Coming to another case, I'll show you how the calcifications are present in certain cases where adhesion is present or a long-term carious lesion is available. But once it is done, and once the working length is over, you can see there are two PDL linings here. Two PDL linings, one PDL lining and two PDL lining, second PDL lining. That means there must be two canals. You can see this PDL lining, it ends up here. There's another PDL lining that goes out here, and another PDL lining that encircles here. Learning about this technique of reading the radiograph is very important. If you have control over the working length and you know that you will be ready for surprises during the preparation, I believe the success rate increases with the patient itself. Another case that has a second molar of maxilla, class 2 cavity or a proximal cavity encroaching the pulp. When you see this case shows how the roots can be fused, and it can confuse the endo practitioner or the general dentist that there are only limited canals. But as of today, in today's video that we saw for a second molar, that buccal canal, you'll find palatal canal very easily and the mesiobuccal canal very easily, but palatal canal, distobuccal canal has to be it might take certain amount of effort to find a distobuccal canal. It is always there. Look and find out, and hope the case prognosis improves with that. Another case with a short root and deep carious lesion. It was a class 1 occlusal caries that and the patient was willing for root canal. He came with excruciating pain. It was a 2-visit endodontic treatment because tenderness was there. So if you listen to the video that I'm saying today, if there is tenderness or an acute case, please do not attempt to do the case in single visit. In acute cases, there are possibilities of a mid-treatment flare-up. Also, when you're doing a cleaning and shaping procedure and obturation, it will take a very long time. Due to pain, the patient is already exhausted. Do not go for a single visit treatment in such cases. Give yourself time, give the patient certain amount of time. Do a good cleaning and shaping. Wait for 2 to 3 days time. Let the tenderness go away from the patient and you can obturate the case easily. When the patient has sinusitis, because the maxillary teeth have a very close relationship with the sinus lining, whenever there is sinusitis, the patient will have tenderness feeling even after like long years of treatment. So just ensure the patient that nothing will happen. Coming to another case, there was an acrylic buildup in this particular maxillary molar of the first quadrant. There was a root piece that was available and the patient did not know what to do. You can see this radio opacity. This was an acrylic crown that was placed by some dentist. So it was not in the right favor of the patient. I tried to convince the patient that we should remove all this, root piece, and we can add prognosis to this particular tooth. The root piece was removed from here. The acrylic tooth was removed and we can see good amount of healing. You can see this after the extraction there is slight buildup of the bone. A lot of radiolucency has been removed. After the healing period was over and patient did not had any tenderness, I went to plan a bridge for this patient. This is one of a very curious case. The entire enamel was intact. There was a very small point of entry, but the patient said that lot of sensitivity to hot and cold food was there. So as you can see, beautiful shape was done, deep shapes were achieved. This was because I used one of my favorite systems. This was a reciprocation system by Dentsply. It was Wave 1 Gold, and when you use certain amount of your when you use your best of the material, you get best of the results. Wave 1 Gold is one of the most kind sort of rotary reciprocation systems available. They are very safe and you can use them fearlessly in canals even with a lot of curvature. So the learning point in this case was using a rotary system or a reciprocation system safely and in a single visit case. Coming to this, one of my favorite premolar cases of second quadrant, you can see two separate portals of exit and two separate canals. This is what the premolars are famous for. You will definitely find such cases. This kind of precision was also done with ProTaper Next system, and I believe it is very good for thin canals, and if you have a good control of rotary endodontics, each and every day these cases can be achieved. I would like to end the video today at this point of time. For assessment, please start sending me your access cavities for posterior teeth, both for maxilla and mandible, and we should meet on the other end towards the assessment session and the mentorship session on the weekends. Let's hope everything goes well, and if you have any doubts, I'm more than happy to help you on these sessions. Take care and bye.